Yo, if you're going through ego death, this might make it smooth and effortless for you. Now I have a friend. They're going to ego death. They're going to through not ego death, but like ego is having an inflation and is struggling to keep rationalizing, but that's causing them more pain. Okay, so it's a little bit funny because, well, there's nothing you can do to help a person who is not into surrender. Okay, so the state of surrender would be like, okay, I can't suffer anymore, like just like God, show yourself to me, reveal yourself to me, whatever, like, you know, in which case the deliverance comes. If the ego is grasping for, like the intellect is grasping, trying to make sense of things, it's just, it can just extend the labyrinth of identity and create more suffering. All right, so what's the deal here? Okay, uh what we don't know, okay, because this game of life, this reality construct is very immersive. Yes, I'm saying this like is Maya, it's not real, but in the Maya we're having a real experience. So it's like every single person has their own VR headset on, and inside of that, which is their psyche, inside of that you're having a very real experience and you're feeling that somatically with your emotions. And then emotions, even like emotional pain and suffering and rage and whatever, like unpleasant emotions, they will feed into the story, and the story will rationalize emotions, and emotions will feed in the story, and we will confirm the emotions with the intellect. This is the ego what it's doing. It's confirming our negative state of being, and the negative state of being is confirming the story. But we haven't caught up with the fact that somewhere along the line we have mistaken the narrative of our psyche for a negative one, where we're not the creator. Okay, and this caused a perpetuum mobile of, well, negative beliefs or choices. Then they start to be unbearable to the body, and this is where we need to have an ego death, because the self, the innermost self, which is you in spirit, okay, that you're playing a game here, right? You're like, everybody is literally God, one consciousness in disguise, wearing different costumes. These costumes are made of psyche, and then you also complement these with your clothes and stuff, right? But we might not master the operating system, okay, of our mind, emotion, somatic, physical experience, and then our minds may suggest to us that something is wrong, or even the objective reality can teach us that we are not deserving, that we are not wanted, that life is hard, etc., etc., etc. These are called curses because they negate your sense of authorship, but they can seem logical, and you can even witness everybody in society doing the same thing that is not empowering to the self, not empowering to the player, but it is kind of like a curse because it denies your authority, it denies your creativity. And then when these curses are looping, and they're ancestral curses, societal curses, all kind of curses that are looping, that we're born into, so we might take them for granted for years before we start to realize spiritual awakening, like, oh my god, like this is a complete bullshit. It's a phantom. It's like a program that is a virus. Like, I'm running this story and I'm feeling bad, and like I got it from my mom or my ancestor or everybody, okay, but that's not actually what's real, because maybe none of these people actually took the authority, the authorship of I am like the creator, that I, on a quantum level, if I shift my story, these mental programs, they're like subtle, they just shape shift, okay, and then a different reality is projected. Okay, so this is basically called uh, materialism, scientific materialism, calcifications, even Satanism, if you believe in the physical reality to be objective, which we scientifically prove, and if we go to school that we could like so it is objective, but it is a quantum simulation. It's a holographic also, so the spirit can animate the matter differently, and if we resort to our circumstances to tell us who we are, then we are trapped. We are God who's trapped in his own dream, okay? And then making up all kind of identities that are called basically victim stories, right? Because you don't have power over how people told you something must be or what you witness in the physical realm. Actually, famous teacher out there, Jesus Christ, my bro, turning water into wine, this kind of stuff is actually understanding that the mental realm, the spiritual realm, the consciousness is causing the appearance of the physical, basically. That the physical realm is just another layer, okay, that uh, is the spirit, is the consciousness on another layer of a vibration. So the thing is, this is not like a god made a trap for themselves and then just like going into VR and tripping balls and forgetting. In a way it is, okay, but this was not, it's not the, it was not like, oh, let's, so from one perspective you can say, oh, you know, universe, God, whatever, like omni self, superconscious is so experimental that it wanted to forget itself and play trick, like you're playing tricks live, playing tricks on your ass because you're God and you're playing tricks on you. So that's a funny note, but actually there is like, to create an immersive reality experience, like think of it as a VR and you're playing, you're inside of this virtual reality where your energies that are running through your body are giving you emotional experiences, and then you can become someone in like the Infinite Sims world. So the game is designed to be very immersive, and it is so detailed that you actually need to focus on physical reality when you are a baby so you can learn how to walk, talk, and do things. So you need to develop these physical objective reality faculties before you can activate, you know, chakras in sequence, and then you can start to also manifest, manipulate, and be creative with that reality. Now you can also pick up things, because when you turn wine to water you're going to need a glass, and it's good that it's staying a glass because you want it like that. So the things that we mentally collapse, they become physical. And if we collapse a story where we are disempowered, okay, disempowered, whatever I said there, if we collapse the story of disempowerment, then we are recreating a feedback loop of a reality of disempowerment, and that's just funny because inside of yourself, deep inside of yourself, you know the joke, you understand the joke, but your intellect, your emotions will may your intellect, your emotion, they may perpetuate this. It is called karma. Okay, so the impression of the negation of the self-love, self-power that is innate to divine being that everybody is, okay, and then in that forgetfulness, uh, perpetuating a character, a narrative that, you know, you're somebody who's basically in some kind of I can't situation, like I can't. Okay, now you can, but look, this, for example, I know all of this because my reality experience is so immersive too, that like a couple of times in my life I do like kriya rebirth stuff, and then all of my energetics of me are purified, and like I come as this avatar, and it's like everything is perfect, and it's just like fun in a video game. Life is literally like a video game, and whatever you're thinking, it's manifesting, and it's like effortless flow of miracles. But the mind and the objective reality has a powerful influence, and also what people tell you and it goes into your ears, into your eyes, into your brain, into your nervous system, becomes your manifestation template. So how you feel is also like what you listen to. And so because we like the collective narratives and like family narratives and societal narratives, they're all kind of like distorted in this forgetfulness. It's so easy to slip into one of these trips or like nightmarish types of like reality suggestions that then play out. And then also you have to be very discernful with how you play the game. And I'm forever learning from different like scenarios, different situations, different karmas, different curses, and even going into like collective field and like assuming these roles where I feel so much cringe in my body, just to be able to understand and then dissolve that. Okay, this is like the magician or the alchemist, because once you take on the dragon, you take on the devil, and you kind of like want to dance with that with some a little bit of or a lot of comic relief, rather than taking your intellectual rendering of it seriously. You want to have that outside bubble of the real self, of love, of consciousness, to embrace all of these like devils and dragons, and then make it a, make it just like a, there is some duality going on. I hate you, but I wanted us to. But you broke my heart. But yeah, I'm horny. I'm like, right. So this is what Kali then comes, and it's like, okay, enough characters. So if you are feeling like spiritual awakening and you're going crazy and blah blah blah, and like your psyche feels kind of nuts, your mind starts to defragment, and all of these like polarities, all of these characters, all of these role plays, they don't make sense anymore. Well, there is a simple thing that you can do, and I'll just give it as an advice. On my channel I often share about this. It's called a 0 point consciousness. But this like this cannot be intellectually, like the ego that is going into these fragmentations and like blah, 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 dramas. The ego can't help itself, the intellect can't help it, the emotional body can't help itself. So the 0 point self is basically in the space of this simulation. Your feelings will be like going through your body, right? And the story will go through your mind. So you feel that spatially something is happening here, something is happening throughout your body. The 0 point self is like a little dot in the center of your being, where the reality, this holographic simulation, actually collapses. So if you can go into that point by intuitively feeling, okay, my thoughts are here and my feelings are here, these are all costumes, you can retrieve your awareness back into the 0 point, and there you can conduct self-inquiry, like, who am I if I collapse all of this information that is presented in my human experience into this point? And because this is the omnipoint, where you don't exist as form, you exist simply as point that is projecting awareness. So you will find out that from there, all of your problems are actually Maya. They're not real. You can even find the perspective where it's all really funny if you look for that. Okay. And then also, I would say, I mean, I have a client, and they come and they're like, but, and then we just do 1 minute like 0 point centering, and then I ask them, so what from this perspective, what do you think about all these problems? And they just like burst into laughter. Because this is a cosmic joke, and you have to shift your perspective. And I suggest you do it spatially in the way that I described, because when you shift your perspective like this, you will truly then be dissociated from your operating system of your avatar, where your mind and your emotions are running wild. Now, funny thing is, when people are really like looping their trauma, or really having the worst possible experience in the game of life possible, where it's just like emotions corroborate the story reaffirms the negative feelings, and just loop. This has to come into exhaustion. And because then consciousness will be really, really immersed in this immersive game of life experience, like you can't nudge people out of it. Like you can't. Sometimes I ask for permission, can I just kill you, and then I energetically slice them with my energetic katana, and the information just dissolves from their body, and they just start to laugh. Also, I had a client like this. So you just do this to their ego, energetic, subtle energetic. Ego is like a few layers of energy bodies, so you just do that to that. Subtle and no more problem. Joe cool. Now we cool. Thumbs up. um, but there's a problem when somebody is really identified with Joe cool having problem, and they are God in their spacesuit, in their avatar, in their. So there's also no spoiler alert. Like they have to ask for the true self to be revealed. Like I've surrendered my thoughts, all of this information, like my suffering, my thinking, my emotion, I surrender all of that to God. So I intuitively knew this throughout my life when I was like not as experienced about playing in the game of life. Many times my psyche would just make me go nuts because it's a like you don't know what you're choosing really. You're just like subscribing into everything. Like license agreement, yeah, click click click, you subscribe, and then you're suffering, and you're like, oh my god, why is my so I had an intuitive knowing. There was maybe an impulse or intuition from my higher self, like just say, sir, I surrender all of my feelings, thoughts, emotions to God right now. God, reveal yourself to me. This would always come as a swoosh and just like relieve you of that whatever knots we create in our psyche, because we're just like having fun subscribing into everything and not so experienced, or maybe do not remember how experienced we actually are in this game, because everybody played this for many many times, but every time you load into the server you have this forgetfulness, right? So you don't remember the wisdom from the last time. And it's kind of deliberate, but it's also like so multifunction, multi-purpose, as I described before. So anyway, hope this was helpful. I think I'm gonna go and have some lunch. Peace.